Hello, welcome to Living Well Today. I'm Angela, and I am working with new software uh, today on Instagram, working with this because I go live here and then I have to go live on Instagram separately for whatever reason it asks you to do that. So, welcome. And today is episode 68. And today we are talking about a subject that what I'm going to say today is probably going to be difficult for some to believe. What I ask for the next 25 minutes or so is that you suspend judgments and beliefs to allow for the possibility of what I share with you today as being a new truth for you, something you can open up to as an idea. And that is that the topic of today's show, I wanted to ask first, have you ever worried about having made the wrong decision? Have you ever said, oh, what a mistake, or I missed my chance? This detour that I've been on is taking me so far off course, I'll never make it back. Well, sharing today is that there are no wrong moves. There are no wrong moves. And every twist, every unexpected turn, every disappointment or so-called mistake, what if it's all part of the plan? All part of the plan. That life is not a straight path. I use this example sometimes in my envisioning work that I do with companies. And so and this is true, when a pilot takes off from Syracuse, New York to fly to LAX, Los Angeles, California, how often do you think that plane is actually on course? It's a very small percentage of the time. I think like 5% of the time of that entire journey, 6 or 8 hours, however long it takes, is that plane specifically on course. However, it knows its destination. It knows it's going to LAX. So it can move off course and on again, off and on again, knowing and trusting it'll arrive in the right place. And while we maybe don't have a specific destination on a map, we do know home. We do know where we're all headed eventually. And the reason that we're here, although it shows up, it manifests in different ways on the surface, we are all here to remember who we are in that journey and trust in the destination. And as I talk about the mystery and the magic of divine timing and trust through different episodes, part of that equation is always this idea of no wrong moves and faith and trusting that you're exactly where you need to be when you need to be there. And a component of that, certainly, we'll talk about this more today, is surrender. And we'll talk about the river when you're rowing your boat on the river. This concept of surrender It's all so nuanced. It's all wrapped so intricately. Trust and faith and surrender and grace. All of these unseen forces in our lives that without them we would perish. We're going to talk today about releasing fear around the unknown, or fear about making the wrong choice, getting it wrong, and embracing the truth that you can't mess it up. You can't mess up destiny. It's bigger than one move or one choice. We'll also talk about, of course, that you want discernment in those moments where two paths or more are presented to you. You want to know the tools and resources of how to get quiet so that you can listen to your higher self, reconnect with your higher, bigger self, and have discernment, have a knowing about which way to go. Either one that you pick, though, you see, that's my point. Either one that you pick still takes you to where you need to go. Might it take longer on this human timeline if you pivot this way rather than that? It could. It could. But longer is not bad. It simply means there's more to nurture, more to cultivate, more guideposts, more milestones on that particular path that will be helpful for you too. A mentor of mine many, many years ago said, you can believe one of two things, that the world is out to get you, which is a sad, sad, sad way to live, or everything is here to serve you and the universe has your back. I choose the latter. Now, sometimes I will slip into a woe's me. I did the other night in conversation with someone who's a mentor for me, and I reach out to her less and less because she taught me this lesson too. And I share this with my beloved all the time. I say, the more you seek your own counsel, the more you seek your own counsel. So the more I seek my own counsel, I don't need to phone her nearly as often. We used to speak every week. Years ago, we used to speak every week. And then that has spaced and spaced and spaced. But I'm really up, and I'm going to use this phrase, and then I'm going to show you a way to rephrase it because I already catch it. I'm awake and aware enough that I catch it. The phrase I was going to say was, I'm up against a real wall right now. I'm in a real pickle on some things. And when I asked her why again, because I've gone through this a few different times, different circumstances, same lesson. Why? Like, I get it. I get that it's time to sell my home and move on. I get that. And I'm in the process of doing that. So why? I had a sewer line backup in my home and wiped out the first floor HVAC. I had to have mitigation. And of course the plumbing goes under my driveway and all my flower beds and all that. So everything had to get dug up, all the concrete. It's been, and of course insurance only covers a small portion of it. And it's like, why, with every home I have had, I have had some major conundrum. And this home two big conundrums. The first one was the painted brick wall, which you all, if you've been watching me through the last few years, you'll know that story. I'm not going to go into that one again. So I said, why? Like, was this a mistake? Buying this house? Is that what that's trying to tell me? Is like, use better judgment next time? Like what? And it's not, the house is beautiful. It's gorgeous. There's nothing wrong with the house. It's just a lot for me, for one person to manage energetically. It's a huge property and it's magnificent and it's a lot. It's a lot. And she said, you know, through these fires in the Pacific Palisades, some very, you know, well-to-do people have come to her. They've lost everything. They could replace it. You know, one is a $10 million, $12 million, or $20 million home. They can, when you have those types of homes, you can replace it. They can't replace their memories, their photograph albums, the things that they created in that space. But obviously it is time for them to be the phoenix rising from the ashes and create something new and different, right? What they have discovered, though, many of these people that have come to her for counsel, is that even though they could buy that big $10 million property or $12 million property again, they love the simplicity and the feeling of freedom, not of the financial burden, but the energy, the simplicity of it all. And she shared that with me because she said, it isn't about the house. It is what it is. This lesson has come up. It's presented in this way. You clearly have something more deeply to learn by it. Otherwise it wouldn't be here. No, you didn't make a wrong move. It is what it is. And you're presented with the opportunity to learn and to grow and to be with what is. And this is a concept essentially from Est, which she was a part of, and people in my life have been a part of as well. And the core theme of Est, the Erna Werhart training, is what is. Embrace what is without trying to change anything. I think we can all attest life in the world have enough change going on versus us trying to move that along even faster or manipulate something to suit us or to bring us out of discomfort and into comfort. We don't like the feeling of discomfort and uncertainty, so we work hard to change it. But if we can come to terms with what is, it is what it is. And it is all right. And you will rise through this. You are bigger. You are bigger than anything that comes your way. Anything. You're still here. I'm still here. What I've been through in my life, what you've been through in your life, yet you're still standing or sitting. We are bigger than anything, any choice. We are bigger than any single choice that we make. And there are no wrong moves. So embrace this. You can't mess up your destiny. That's something you can't control. No matter the choices you make, you'll still arrive where you need to arrive. I know it might be hard to believe. Do me a favor here and now. Take a nice, slow, deep breath way down into your belly with me. Breathe with me now, through your nose and out through your mouth. Let your shoulders relax. Settle in to this notion that you are exactly where you need to be. It is tough to swallow when you feel like you're up against a wall. Every show I do for the purpose of first teaching me and helping me. In fact, I have a mirror right here behind where I do my show. So that I can look into my own eyes before, during, and after the show. And I can say, you are on the right path. I love you. You're doing it. You're here. All is well. You are safe. You can trust yourself and the choices you make. And there are no wrong moves. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. If you're facing uncertainty, if you're facing heartbreak, you're feeling like you're lost your way, I get it. I get it. And I'm in and out of that a lot right now. And then I remember, every step I take, every step you've taken, every single one has been leading you home. Has been leading you home. Imagine, I talked about the river. Imagine for a moment that your life is this great river. Your whole life is this magnificent, wide, flowing river. Long, big river. And you're the boat. You're in the boat. You're moving along the river's currents, right? And some days the waters are smooth. You hear that peaceful sound. You hear the birds singing on its banks. You can see the slight sway of the trees on the riverbanks. And carrying you forward with ease. You're in the zone, man. You're in the zone. Life is good. Other days, you hit rapids. Some are bigger than others. It's rough. It's churning. The waves are churning. The boat is rocking. Boat might turn over. And it makes you question if you're going the right way at all. Sometimes you try to turn around and paddle against the waves. Paddle, paddle, paddle harder. Resist that flow. Resist that current. I can do this. I'm convinced this other route is a better way for me. Or should I have gone that way? What if I'd gone that way? Maybe if I'd gone this way, I wouldn't hit the rapids. No matter how hard you fight, if you're trying to paddle in the opposite direction of your own flow of life, that river is moving at will. It is going to a destination and it knows where it's going. And it is determined. So you are carried even when you took a wrong path, even when you're paddling sideways or you're turned around backwards, even when the boat is flipped over. What's happening? That river is carrying you. Life, God, spirit, source, the world, the universe, your higher self has got you in the palm of their hands. That river is carrying you. Life is carrying you. And the more you fight against it, the harder it is. So, if you've looked back on your life, I ask you, is there a time that at the time it seemed like a disaster? Oh, I can remember a time. I can remember a time. It seemed like a disaster. The choices that I made And yet, there is perfection in that time also. And I couldn't have seen it from that vantage point. Steve Jobs says, we can never connect the dots going forward, looking forward. We can only connect the dots looking back. So what you have to do, according to Jobs, is that you have to trust that the dots will be there to connect. And they will. They always have been. Whether you're 22, 52, or 82, and whether you're watching this live or on replay with me, right? There are always dots eventually to connect. And you got to trust that they're going to be there. Connect the dots. The river knows where it's going, friends, even when we don't. Even when we don't. That's that. I have a video. Actually, it's one of the videos I think that seem to resonate. It resonates with me, and I remind myself of it often. I go back and watch it and listen and learn it more deeply. But it's the primary video that comes up on my YouTube channel. I have it kind of set so that you can watch it when you go on the channel. And it's living with uncertainty, being in the middle of something. And in truth, the interesting thing is that we are always in the middle. If we are alive, if there is breath in our lungs, I'm just realizing this, because we think that we have a beginning point on something, a project or desire, and we have an end point. And while on those finite projects that might be true, when it comes to life, although life on earth is finite, it's a certain measured number of years, sure, chronologically. But life as a whole, we're always in the middle. If you believe you have more than one life, which I do, as does my friend Folly and anyone who practices any measure of Buddhism, you believe in more than one life, more than one lesson. And so we're always in the middle. How about that? Now that takes pressure off too. That has two sides of the coin. One side of the coin, you can say, you mean this is never going to feel finished? Like, can I just land and feel finished? The minute you feel finished is when they put you 6 feet under, friend. And you move on back into the ether and make a choice whether you're going to have another life or not, another swing at bat. So whether it was a job, whether it was a relationship, and or a particular career path altogether, what you went to school for, did you have children, didn't you? Did you have one child? Did you have three? Did you marry this person? Did you divorce that person? Whatever those decisions and choices, and you look back and go, oh, what a wrong move. I chose the wrong path. I messed up. Right? That's the phrase. I messed up. If I just done something different, if I just done this, if I just stayed with my singing career, if I had just stayed with my husband, if I had just done this or not that, I'd be more successful. I'd be more fulfilled. I'd be happier. Life would be easier. I'd be more wealthy. I'd be fill in the blank. But if I told you that's never possible, that no matter which road you take, you'll always arrive at the place you're meant to be. It will not be denied you. The means by which you got there might look and feel different. Yeah. Rumi, the great mystic poet, I want to read this so I don't get it wrong. The great mystic poet wrote, "Be like a tree and let the dead leaves drop." A tree and let the dead leaves drop. Let them go. I love it because it reminds us that nothing is truly lost. The dots to connect will be there. New leaves will come in. If this wasn't there, something else will fill that space. And you'll be where you're meant to be. It is what it is. And what it is good and can be good. But that goodness is all to do with how you look at it and trust it and trust the process. The tree doesn't mourn its leaves. Oh, I lost a leaf. It trusts its own growth and process. It knows more leaves are coming in. Yeah. As humans, we have this need to just hold on, to replay the movie over and over, replay our choices. I've done it. I do it still. Should I have done things differently? What if we let go? What if we trusted that everything's happening exactly as it should? Does it feel easier? Does it feel better? Of course it does. Does it allow us to make freer, more likely, more empowering choices for ourselves in the future? Sure it does, because you're not afraid of making a mistake. There are no mistakes. Life's not a path to be walked or tested, a test to be passed. I passed the test of life. Look, you're living here. You passed the test. The only time you don't pass the test is when you take yourself out on purpose. That's the only time you don't pass the test. That's a big F on your paper. You didn't pass the test of life. Or maybe you passed the test of life for 22 years and then decided you didn't want to participate anymore. Well, you're just going to have to come back and learn the lessons again. That is the truth of it. Your soul made a choice to come here. You don't just get let off the hook. It's not a test to pass. It's an experience to have, and it's a dance to dance. And it is what it is. I'm not discounting deep pain and sorrow and feeling lost. I'm not. In that same breath, I mean, if that is what that is your choice. That is always your choice. You are of your own dominion. What I am here to encourage you to consider is that if you feel you want to opt out early by choice, that is your choice. But that you are disconnected. You're disconnected from your higher self. And that all the answers and the ease lie with that higher self. And it is incumbent upon us to reconnect, to remember. And the only way you do that is through meditation, nature, and doing the work. We're always moving this rhythm that we have. And the rhythm that we move with is always greater than ourselves. And the more that we trust the rhythm, the more grace we allow into our lives. And that grace and that light can transmute the pain and the sense of loss and uncertainty. It shores you up. And the more we resist it, the more tangled we become in it. The more resistance, the more tangled. So what happens when we surrender? When we even surrender to the pain, rather than fighting the pain, to surrender to it, to make friends with it, to say, this is part of my journey, and this conversation I'm having right now is sacred, and I want to step forward every step in trust and in sacred. And I want to move with joy. And as you do that and affirm that for yourself, we soften. Everything softens. And we trust more. And maybe the trust part, for me in this life, that's my big lesson, I know. Self-acceptance and trust. Maybe for me, it will never be fully realized. And maybe it will. Either way, I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep doing the work. I'm going to keep asking the question. And I'm going to keep surrendering to the answer that I receive. Okay. Okay. It is what it is. And what it is okay for me for right now. I accept. I trust. I have faith that when I look back, I'll be able to connect the dots. The dots will be there. And I'll make sense of it all sometime. Yeah? The universe is not waiting to punish you for taking a wrong step. It's constantly rearranging to meet you where you are. So where do you want to be? And can you surrender to where you are right now is part of that journey, part of whatever destination you have going home. So I want to leave you with this. Whatever you're facing, you are not lost. You're on the path where you're supposed to be. You've not strayed. You're right on time. You're right where you need to be. Sometimes I use this metaphor often. A tapestry. Our life is a tapestry. And imagine if you're at 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 feet. You're looking down at this tapestry. When you're in it, when you're in the tapestry and the threads are tangled up feeling and you don't feel like the colors are meshing well and it's not beautiful, it's tangled, it's a mess. My life is a mess. From here, from this higher perspective of faith and trust and grace, looking down at the tapestry, it's something beautiful is being created. Something beautiful is being created. Every knot, every color, every twist of a thread is creating something beautiful. And that is my guiding light. Yeah. Is that if I can trust in the beauty that is unfolding, and that is not even unfolding. I want to reframe that. Vicky said to me the other night, my mentor said to me, you're not becoming. You're not becoming. How many times I use that phrase? She said, you are. That's the difference. When you realize that you are, there's no more striving. There's no more reaching. There's no more wondering, should I take another class? Which I do often. I need another license. I need another certification. People aren't understanding my work. Maybe if I get another certification, I'll be more clear on it, or it'll validate it in some other way, whatever it might be. And she said, you're not becoming, there's nothing unfolding. It was such a concept for me. You are. Can you love and accept who you are? Can you love and accept your life as it is? And as you do, and here is the big aha, as you do, more beauty comes into your life, more ease, more money, more of more. Whatever it is that you feel you are lacking, the secret to having it is to accept that you don't yet. And that all things as they are right. Journey. So if today's message spoke to you, share it with someone that you think would resonate as well, who might need a reminder, who's living with regret or feeling stuck. Remind them that they're exactly where they need to be. And as you stay present and as you open to that, then more gifts come in. You see with new eyes in a more resourceful and loving way. You can always find Living Well Today on my website, angelamoonin.com. You can also reach out to me to whether you're a healthcare provider, a doctor who's thought, I want to do this differently, whether you are a CEO and you think either for yourself and or for your team, we need to bring more ease and joy and contentment, satisfaction into the process for us and for our customers or patients, clients. Whether you are a teacher, a caregiver, a family member who has someone in their life that they're caring for that has a lot of dis-ease and discomfort and restlessness and paranoia and whatever it might be. They're in their last chapter of their life. And you would like to bring them more beauty and more ease and peace, reach out to me. I'll be there. Bye for now. See you next week.